Hello everyone, welcome to Native Mobile Bits. My name is Sachin and this is the second video of our playlist, The Flutter Show. In this video, we are going to start learning about Dart programming language, and for that, first step will be that we install a plugin for Flutter inside our Android Studio. And I am using Android Studio for this playlist, The Flutter Show, because I know that most of you are already familiar with Android Studio IDE, and we can also use this IDE for Flutter development. Okay, only thing we need to do here is we need to install one plugin. So we need to just come here inside this plugin tab. We need to search for Flutter and we need to install this. Basically, this is a plugin and it will support us to develop applications using Flutter. It can be Android application or an iOS application. So we need to install this, and to install this Flutter plugin we just need to click on this install button, and Android Studio will start downloading this plugin for us. And once this plugin is downloaded, we will be able to use Flutter and Dart inside our Android Studio. Plugin is installed. Now we just need to click on this to restart our Android Studio, and once it's restarted we will see that there is one new option for new Flutter project. And to create a Flutter project or a Dart project, we can just click on this new Flutter project. It is showing us both of these options, Flutter or Dart. We are going to select Flutter because we just want to create one Flutter project. Within that project itself, we can learn about Dart programming language, and we will start learning Dart programming language from very basic, because in order to develop Flutter apps, we need to know about Dart, and to know about Dart functionality, we need to code little bit in Dart to get familiar with this new programming language, right? So let's select this Flutter, and it's showing us the SDK path we have installed here, right? Flutter coding, and inside this we have this Flutter SDK. So it's correct. We need to click on this next, and we need to enter one project name. So let's say we are learning Dart, so let's call it Dart Learning. Okay, the moment we will click on this create button, it is showing us that it should have a valid name, and in Dart we cannot directly use this convention. We need to use project name with lowercase with underscores, right? So that's the first thing we can learn here. We need to give name something like this, Dart Learning. Okay, and we can click on this create button, and then Android Studio is creating one Flutter project for us, and we can use this project to code something related to Flutter or to code some Dart functionalities. Okay, our project is created. Let's close all of these tabs. Let's understand about the project structure we get inside a Flutter project. Now this is the project which Android Studio IDE created for us, and this is the project structure. Now before I start explaining about this project structure, I want to make sure that all of you know about Android Studio IDE. If any one of you don't know about Android Studio, here is this video on my YouTube channel which you can check out, and you can learn all about Android Studio IDE and how you can use this and how you can build beautiful applications, how you can use all the function or features which Android Studio provide. Please check this video on our channel Native Mobile Bits. I will also add this video in the description link. Okay, now let's proceed to understand what we get when we create a new project in Flutter, right? You can see that we have multiple folder: Android, iOS, Linux, Mac OS, web, Windows. So these are all the different platforms for which we can build applications using Flutter. Interesting, right? And all of these folder, for example this Android folder, is basically a small tiny Android project. You can check out the inside content, and this will be familiar to you because we have one app folder which has one source, one main, Java and Kotlin. We also have some resource file which have the drawables, and we have one manifest file, we have one Gradle file. So this is exactly what we get inside this Android folder, and this is exactly like a Android project, right? Similarly, we also have one iOS project. This is also having this Xcode project, Xcode workspace, and all the things which we get inside a iOS project, right? And same way we also have content for a Mac OS project, for a Linux project. We also have for Windows project, right? We will learn all about these one by one. We are going to start with Android applications using Flutter, then we will build for iOS as well, and for Windows and for Mac OS and Linux as well. We will try to go step by step for all of these platforms. Alright, now let's move towards the next files which we get when we create a Flutter project. So we have one file called analysisoptions.yml. Okay, this is basically a file which can have multiple set of rules which we want to run on our code. Basically it's kind of lint file where we can define the rules, like how we want to make sure that our code is organized in a proper syntax, in a proper format, and all of those rules which we want to just run on our code, we can specify those here. So basically this is a lint file. Lint is majorly used to make sure that all of the developers in the team are using the same format for the code. Then we have this folder called lib. It stands for library, and in larger project or in our Flutter projects we are going to have multiple .dart files, and all of those files we are going to organize under this lib folder. As of now we have one default main.dart file and it has so much code. So let's say tomorrow we are developing another screen or another Dart file, we are going to place under this lib folder. Okay, let's close this. Then we have this file called pubspec.yml, and this file contains a list of third-party dependencies which we want to use inside our Flutter project. So like in Android Studio we have Gradle, right? So we have multiple dependencies, whatever the third party libraries we want to use inside our project, we specify in build.gradle file, right? Similarly in Flutter project we specify all the third party libraries we want to use in our project inside this pubspec.yml, and this name pubspec stands for pub specification, and we also specify our project version inside this file. So you can understand this file is like build.gradle inside Android project. So here you can just check out, we have the project name, we have some description, right? We also have the project version, we have some environment, some SDK, and then we have this dependency, we have Flutter. Then we have some other dependencies here, we also specifying the respective versions for these dependency. Then we have this pubspec.log, and this file specify the exact and precise version for any dependency we are using inside our project, right? So let's say we have this dependency, it is having some name and description, and then it is having the exact version for this dependency. Okay, so for example, let's say we are using this dependency here, and we have some description, name is cloak, version is this one, and other different version we are using for different dependencies here. And this readme file is similar to all the other readmes, it just basically defines what our project is all about or what we are doing inside our project. All those kind of details we can specify inside this readme file. Okay, now to execute our Flutter project we have this main.dart file. Okay, so this file is placed under library. So this library is basically the main folder for any Flutter project. It can have multiple Dart files, and for now we have this main.dart file and we can execute this file. Okay, so for executing our project, let's run any emulator or simulator. If you are trying to run on Android Studio, or if you are trying to run on Xcode, okay, you can run your Flutter application on any of these emulator or simulator. So we can run the project by clicking on this green button here, or we can also click on this button inside the main.dart file. Basically we have this main function, this is the entry point for our main.dart file or our Flutter project. As of now, don't worry much about the code syntax and everything because we are going to learn all about Dart. But for now, I just want to show you how we can execute our Flutter project and how we can install it on an emulator. Or if you want to run this on a simulator, if you are trying to build Android application or iOS application, based on that, we can run on emulator or simulator, both. Okay, and we can see that our build is successful and our application is running now on our emulator. Okay, this is very basic demo project which Flutter provides when we create a new Flutter project, and here we are just tapping and this number is increasing. Don't worry about anything, just sit back, relax and be calm and be happy. From the next video we are going to learn about Dart programming language, and then we will code all of these things ourselves. Okay, so we are going to learn about the very basic fundamentals, coding structures, how we can use the coding syntax in Dart, and then we will take it from there towards Flutter development. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you enjoyed it, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I will see you very soon with another video inside our Flutter playlist called The Flutter Show. Be happy, be safe and please support the channel. I would appreciate that. Thank you.